I'm Christopher Warnock of Renaissance Astrology, and today I'd like to talk about my new Crown Jupiter talismans, as well as some incredible astrological correspondences in the Central Asian history, particularly the Lord of the Auspicious or Lord of the Great Conjunction. Um, it's been really exciting to move through the various talismans we have available. We've got these new Crown Jupiter talismans in bronze. The image is really quite interesting. It is a crowned king, and you can see he's sort of got his hands in prayer, and then he's being carried on this chair by four angels. So really, what we've got is an image that is very first of all, has to do with, I think, with not just kings, but emperors, because Jupiter rules emperors. These talismans are supposedly good for the typical Jupiter wealth and prosperity, also for felicity, which I had to look up, and that means bliss and great happiness. So that sounds really great. And then also, Jupiter is associated with wisdom. But as I said, there's a sort of imperial quality to it. And what's interesting, I always have these synchronicities coming up. As I was looking at these talismans, I sort of stumbled across this whole interesting section of history that has to do with Central Asia and this whole amalgam of all sorts of different cultures coming together in the early modern and Renaissance period. And so the one of these is this whole concept of the Lord of the Great Conjunction. Now, a number of different Central Asian rulers who aspired to world domination, at least of the world that they knew, took this title. This relates to the mundane astrology cycle of the Great Conjunction, which is the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which takes place about, I believe, every 30 years, but a Great Conjunction takes place when Jupiter and Saturn conjoin for the first time after changing triplicity, because usually they'll repeat the same triplicity over and over again, and that change of triplicity is the Great Conjunction, and we just had one of those take place back in 2020. So there was all sorts of sort of speculations about it and everything, and what the actual import of it is. It's less significant as a personal thing. A lot of people are saying, what does it mean for me? Probably nothing for you individually, but it tends to affect these typical mundane astrology, great periods of history, countries and the world itself. And in fact, that's the focus that the Central Asian, these monarchs had. Tamerlane, who's a 14th century Central Asian conqueror of Turkic descent, was related to Genghis Khan. He's tried to assume the mantle of Genghis Khan. And then also the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who also saw himself in the line of the Timurid line, and also claimed this title of Lord of the Auspicious Conjunction. Really, this is a claim to world domination. These at the time, these great conjunctions were seen as heralding revolution on a really grand scale, also potentially disaster. So not always just, the sort of new age happy talk sort of thing, but great change, great power. And there's a tendency, obviously there's lots of, you can think of the dictators now, Idi Amin or something, president for life, and giving all these sort of ridiculous, grandiose titles. This really was more than just a self-aggrandizing title. There was a sense with a lot of these emperors, particularly in the Mughal emperors, that there was more to it than simply just slapping a name on it. Humayun, who was the second Mughal emperor, is a really interesting example. He took astrology to, and then the astrological correspondences to incredible lengths. For example, he would wear the appropriate color for the day. For example, on Tuesday he would wear, which is associated with red, which is planet Mars. He would wear red, and then he would sit on the throne of wrath and vengeance, and then he would sentence criminals and war captives. So each day he would follow functions appropriate to that planet. He would wear appropriate clothing, and he would sit on an appropriate throne. He even went so far as to arrange his court in sort of spheres and circles, and people would sit in the circle, sit in the sphere that was appropriate to their function. He had his tents divided into 12 for each sign of the zodiac, and then again, in terms of his administration, divided it up as far as the 4 elements. So the military was assigned to fire, his household was assigned to air, irrigation and drinking and things like that were assigned to water, and then lands and land administration and taxes and things like that were associated with the earth element. So this is more than just somebody who's just, as I said, with a self-aggrandizing title. This is someone who is attempting to align themselves with an ordered cosmos, who has this view of reality as having this inherent patterning, this pattern that not only can be aligned with, but really needs to be aligned with. We can think of this with the whole Chinese traditional view of the mandate of heaven, that if we follow the mandate of heaven, if the emperor has the mandate of heaven, then they can rule, and they rule in a wise way. When they cease to when they cease to align themselves with the cosmic order, then disaster falls for them and for the country. And literally disaster, because the etymology of the word disaster means ill-starred. So, built in, sort of baked in even into our language, is this view of cosmic order. That's something that we need to be aware of first, and then also we need to align ourselves with it. And so again, to align ourselves is to orient ourselves. Again, literally that means to face east. And this is where orient obviously is the east, and where the sun rises. So again, astrological orientation, again, baked into the very language that we're using. So this, I think, relates, the synchronicity for me is that as we're coming to these new Jupiter and Pisces talismans, again, that they have the crown Jupiter with the king, really an emperor, I think, rather than a king. They are resonating with this idea of cosmic order, and that the necessity is all the way from the lowliest person to the greatest needs to, and particularly the great and the kings and the rulers, need to be in tune with this cosmic pattern, need to be aware of it, align themselves to it, and the entire world, whatever country or whatever that you're in needs to align to it. Now, for those of us who are not emperors, obviously this is not something we're able to do, but even our individual efforts are going to bear fruit, both for ourselves and then just for the spiritual vibration, so to speak, that we're aligning ourselves to have a pervasive effect. So we can align, we can honor Jupiter in many ways, attain this wisdom. We can do it with, for example, getting talismans, the crown Jupiter or other Jupiter talismans. You can make talismans yourself. You can do planetary invocations, meditation, visualization. You can do planetary charity, and then also daily planetary practice. And I provided links for those here on the YouTube page. But now is the foolishness of the society, in fact, the entire world, and this culture that we are part of, and our refusal to conform to the cosmic pattern has really revealed itself. I mean, obviously in a great deal of chaos, and then all the various disasters and potential apocalypse that come from climate change, drought, hurricanes, floods, wildfires. By not emulating the cosmic order, by not being aware of it and following it, we really are bringing disaster on ourselves. So I think that we really are, Jupiter is really, this is a spirit, an angel, energy that we really do want to know and to align ourselves with. And each of us that does this spiritual attainment and alignment is helping not only ourselves, but so our neighborhood, our region, our country, and even the world. One person's spiritual vibration, so to speak, can have a very far-reaching effect. So, while we're thinking about talismans, yes, I want all these great things for myself, that's great, but there are these other benefits and these even greater benefits to it, particularly this attainment of wisdom, which is part of Jupiter's path and Jupiter's gifts. So, very happy to have these new Jupiter talismans. Check them out. If that's something you're interested in, great, get those. But also think about how you can align yourself with Jupiter, how you can start allowing that transformational power of Jupiter to transform you and then have that effect on yourself and then everyone you interact with, and in fact the entire world.